boy. 3 in a row. Wow.
Are we streaking?
Are we streaking right now, you guys?
Are we
What
going
is up, everybody? Welcome into the Winners Lounge. For just the third time this season, the Denver Nuggets find themselves on a 3-game winning streak.
Holy cow.
Holy cow.
Is this how the other half lives?
I think this is what happens when you play the Pistons twice and then the Knots, the Brooklyn Knots.
Is that how the lower half plays?
Hey, you can only play the teams in front of you.
That's right, Win.
That's
you only
right.
play the teams on your schedule.
Such a great point.
What is it on the schedule? A win or a loss, Harrison? It's a win.
It's a win. Well, tonight was a scheduled loss. I
That's
heard
right.
from us last night, but it was
A rescheduled loss.
Yeah, we're in here drinking some Ranch Riders. You guys don't know what Ranch Rider is, but you're about to. It's like my new favorite beverage by far, by a mile. I got the squad here. I got Bryn and Vogt. You were really into this game, man. Your vibes were fantastic.
Thanks, man. I see a lot of people are pointing out that they played the Pistons and the Nets, and I just want to say that's correct. I don't care. 3
Yeah.
straight wins. I'll take it.
And look, man, this season, like, there's a lot of, like, you see the stats are like, there's so-and-so is a X amount of wins above teams above 500. It's like, none of this matters right now, man. Like, above 5, the Nets are above 500.
Yeah, it
Like,
is what it is.
This is a above 500 win for the Nuggets.
Collect wins, and the Nuggets have won 8 of their last 11, regardless of how we drown in our sorrows on this show.
A much more important stat, and we're going to get to it. I got D-line over here.
Guys!
Yeah?
I feel pretty good.
Do you?
I mean, like, I thought winning 3 in a row, like, am I smug? No. But, whoa! It sounds like the
Emotional Avs
Avs
game,
scored.
man. Emotional Avs.
It sounds like
Avs
everyone
scored.
downstairs just realized the Nuggets won their 3rd game in a row.
That's what it is, yeah.
And I got Harrison Wynn with me.
Nuggets 2.0.
Oh,
is
man.
still here.
I love when Wynn has
This
been.
is Nuggets 2.0, guys.
I love when he has been.
Enjoy the ride.
Everybody forgets about him except for Wynn, and then he picks the perfect moment to bring him back up.
Win's been riding high since that meme dropped, and we all know it. We all know it.
As Steph's telling me, we didn't even need the Cardo wind. Just, I guess what we're calling it tonight.
Yeah.
Didn't need it. This was every bit a back-to-back amongst 2 teams that are like just throwing lineups out there. I mean, this really was an ugly game. It wasn't as 124-118. There was a lot of great bucket making tonight on both sides. I mean, we did not expect Austin Rivers to have 7 threes. We did not expect Cam Thomas to have like
Great bucket mating from just a couple of hoopers.
It really was just like 3 guys making buckets the entire time.
Hooper's paradise.
I think the place we have to start, though, is Austin Rivers. Look, man, he goes to Michael Malone a couple games back. He says, hey, man, let's have a meeting here. Why am I not playing more? I think I can help this team. I don't know what all he says, but this is the general gist of it. They have a heart-to-heart. He's been pretty good since then. I'm not going to lie. That meeting really was seems like a turning point for him. And tonight he goes for 7 3-pointers. He's done that 3 times in his career, all for the Los Angeles Clippers. For the Nuggets, he has now 3 games where he made at least 6. This now, of course, being 7. So, Wind, how do you assess Austin Rivers' game? The DraftKings Sportsbook was key to the game tonight.
Yeah, he was incredible. And it's funny because that meeting with Michael Malone kind of coincided with when they traded for Bryn Forbes. And I wonder if that trade may be a little bit of a fire under him. But even if that wasn't the reason, like, he was great tonight. And I think a big reason why he was great, he was 7 of 10 from 3. They were all catch and shoot threes. All the 7 threes that he made. I don't know if I think he jab stepped on 1.
There was one. There was one
One
jabber.
jab step?
Yeah.
But the others were like just straight catch and shoot, no hesitation. And it's like, look, man, it's not that hard. Just cut out the jab step stuff. Just read and react. If you're open, shoot it. And he goes 7 of 10 from 3.
I've said this for a long time that shooting, so much of it is the mental, like, you have to have it in you to shoot as soon as you can. Like, shooters know they're shooting before they ever get it. And I feel like with him, his default is that jab step, get comfortable, this or that. So there's something mentally to, I'm just going to shoot it when I'm open. Like, have that in your mind frame so there's no hesitation. And I agree with you. It has gotten better.
And you know what, guys? I think Austin Rivers, the much maligned this season, Austin Rivers, I think some of it's been unfair, and it's really easy to say right now. This is a front-runner take, but I'm going to let it rip. I've taken a lot of L's this year. I'm just going to ride a wave with 2020 hindsight. I think he's been a good player. He's on a minimum deal. I honestly think he's been a decent player off the bench. Harrison absolutely nailed it, right? A decisive Rivers night and day. And we all know where the frustration stems from when he's not decisive. And let's be honest, we've all identified it. At times, he's an anti-Jokic ball player, and that can be tough to watch. But here's the reality. I think he has given the Nuggets quality minutes, considering he's on a minimum deal, considering how overextended they've been.
Well, he was terrible at the beginning of the year.
This is your front runner is taking.
He was terrible, but then we heard him say, look, I was playing hurt at the beginning of the year. I got COVID. Then I reset mentally and physically.
Right.
He's been good ever since that.
He has been. He has been.
So maybe that was early on in the year, so maybe going off
everyone
that point.
was the entire bench too.
I also think the bench unit. Look, I mean, I've complained a lot about the Rivers-Facu combo. Like you put both of those guys out there, and maybe there's something to a little bit more playing other lineups. What do you make of Austin Rivers tonight?
I make of Austin Rivers that this was such a ridiculous game in that you looked at the lineup at the beginning. We were just laughing at it when they showed who was suiting up for each team, and I think that both sides kind of felt like a little bit like this didn't count.
Yeah.
And Austin Rivers was kind of playing free and clear. Like he just was going back to his bread and butter, which is just letting it rip, like not putting too much pressure on himself. Will Barton looked like the same kind of thing. Like he was just like, F it, I'm just going to shoot tonight. Like, what are we going to do? So, I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know that I'm ready to say that he's a good player or that I'm happy he's on the team, but I'm really happy he was playing tonight. He's shooting a lot of good threes. King of the jab. Maybe there's a health department tie in there for him somewhere.
I think this is the joy of an 82 game.
Wow. Should we just call it there?
Yep. Wrap it up, guys.
Around the association.
This really is, though, one of the joys of an NBA season. It's funny because we're talking about this game. It was a bit of it wasn't a beautiful game where you feel confident about the Nuggets' greatness or this or that. I mean, this was not a very good Nets team. But this is the thing about an 82-game season is you do get little moments like this, with Austin Rivers tonight. And you're right, he is a pretty unheralded player. He's maybe the 9th or 10th best player on the Nuggets roster. I don't know, but it's somewhere around there. And for him to be able to be a king of the game tonight and have himself a moment, it's just cool. That's
it is cool.
That is why you honestly, this is part of following the NBA is you do get these little you don't always get this, like say NFL. There's 16 games.
Yeah.
Your hero is usually one of 3 guys. It's like one of these 3 guys is going to be the and in an NBA season you get an Austin Rivers night and it's hey, cool.
We joyfully started another semi-sarcastic but very real Austin Rivers chant downstairs. Second one that's ever been went in DNVR Bar. Went for 2 rounds and then kind of died down. All the same.
Also, I just want to say for me, that take isn't about, it's very easy to say after he drops 25, but it's not necessarily about these games. In between, I think there have been a lot more 3 rebound, 10 points, good defense. Yeah. And you take that from a guy in his role.
I mean, it is valuable, absolutely, to have just veterans on a squad, guys that have done well in the past, that have performed well and can
guys that are going to stay ready too.
Yeah, it is really valuable. Austin Rivers is not a guy I feel like we can rely upon, obviously, to do something like this every night, but even to necessarily be the glue that sort of holds this team together as it's falling apart.
Right.
But you're right. You get moments like this out of guys that have been around, and this is George Karl's thing. You just want vets. You want guys that have done it.
I just think this is the thing about how I like to cover sports but also engage with them is you want to write these things. It's funny because to me, and I hate it, everybody fell into the trap tonight of the Nick Wright, throwing out just some shit. He's I was thinking about this today. Back in the 90s, we had Ahmad Rashad. Remember this? Ahmad Rashad.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. The most charismatic guy. Clearly loved the NBA, and everything he did was check out how awesome the NBA is. Today we're hanging out with Dikembe Mutombo, everybody. Dikembe, look at your shoes. It's just funness. And nowadays, all your top analysts, a la Nick Wright, are just what's a good player? He's not as good as this other guy.
Right.
That's just the take. And we're wait. That's right. No, he is as good as that. No, he's not as good.
That is hilarious. In the 90s, it really was just about putting as much sugar coating on every sports, and now it's just
sports
ripping it. Now it's just what did you say? You're a fucking moron, dude.
You're an idiot.
No, why would you? Basically, because Twitter's just ruined life as it is. So
and also
it's
just
carried over to
but
sports.
It also even goes back before that to just how. I would say how cable news, sports news programs all became let's have 2 guys debate this, or maybe a panel of guys debate it. And it really was that's what I'm talking about. Tonight, was Jokic good tonight by his standards? No. I mean, it was clearly a second night of a back-to-back. This is a bad team. I'm going to do just enough to get by, which, by the way, happened to be leading both teams in points, rebounds, and assists. Whatever. So, Jokic's bad games are still
from the field.
They still do this, but it was a night where he just didn't have his foot on. But this is why I wanted to kind of start with Austin Rivers. It's it's cool, man, when not the main guy does something that's like really inspiring and cool, and we got that tonight from Rivers.
And in this season, that's what the Nuggets need. I said this like a month ago, but they just need unlikely heroes to step up. Because,
Totally.
yes, Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA. He could very well win a back-to-back MVP this season. He can't go for 28, 22, and 9 every single night.
Right.
He can't. He can do that maybe.
He can go 26.
Maybe he can do that like 2 nights in a row, but
Starting to get used to it.
probably not on a back-to-back.
Honestly, I think
they need an Austin Rivers performance. They need these types of things.
Well, let's get to Jokic, because I kind of disagree with this. Like, I actually think he can. If you remember,
he didn't tonight, is what I'm saying.
Bryn's got some ground to stand on at the moment.
strong disagree here. You guys can disagree with me if you want. Let's look at this. Jokic starts the game. Nuggets are up, 14 in the opening minutes, right?
Yeah.
It's a dominant thing. They did start to lose it a little bit, and Jokic gets a second foul. He goes out.
Yep.
You go to the third quarter. He starts again. 42-26. Nuggets are up in that quarter. Then you go to the end of the game. It's just to me, Jokic does this sometimes. This is the difference between Jokic and some other players, is that we do know some guys that just put the stats up. It's like, oh, man, they've got nobody to guard me now. I'm going to put up 50 points. It's like, oh, well, this and that. Jokic does take these nights where he's like, I'm not needed that much tonight. And it was frustrating because we didn't put. This is why we didn't put money on Jokic tonight. But there was like.
But then in the second half, he was like, I guess they do, and then he did.
And
So,
then
yeah.
that's my whole point. Is I don't know. He did exactly. He just to me was always in control here.
I mean, he was bad in the first half, though. He picked up 2 fouls, and he came back in
Right.
with 5 minutes left in the second quarter and didn't do anything
Yeah.
before halftime. He
He
took
only-
2 shots.
You're right about
was
that.
totally out of the game.
He had 6 shots in the first half.
Yeah, he came back in the second quarter. Looked like he didn't even want to be out there, to be honest. Like his body language through the first 3 quarters of the game was pretty awful tonight, I thought.
But awful as in pouty or awful as in disengaged?
Just like disinterested, I
Yeah.
thought.
I mean, I think so too.
He
But
looked
again,
tired to me.
this
yeah.
goes back to my point of just like kind of this was very much I'm going to do the amount that is required of the winning.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's unfortunate on nights like tonight, but it's also not a surprise.
Yeah,
We
but then
literally didn't bet on it because of it.
But then he pulled that second half out, and you're like, oh yeah. One thing I know what you mean, Win, but I actually had this note. Jokic didn't compound the issues with mental stuff. Like
Right.
He
I
let
know-
DeMarcus Cousins do that for him.
Yeah. It's not like he was yelling at refs or teammates or getting too frustrated or jacking
Yo.
up those BS3s he does sometimes.
Is Boogie Cousins Jokic's anger translator?
So there's some funniness to this because here's one thing to think about it. One, Boogie does the referees really, really dislike him, and he has a temper. Like he loses it very quick. But Jokic was 8 for 8 from the foul line tonight, which is above his season average. I think he takes 6 a game or 5.5 a game. He got 8 tonight. Last game he had 7. The game before that he had 10. In the DeMarcus Cousins era, Jokic is 3 for 3 and shooting above. Now you laugh. I actually think there's something to it. What happened to start this fourth quarter? There were 6 fouls to begin. Now there were 3 on Nuggets or whatever, but also on the other way. And this is the thing. DeMarcus Cousins, he has not been very. In fact, I would say he's been atrocious individually.
I would disagree with that,
No,
but okay.
hold on. Well, you're not
This is
going
a
to.
contentious show.
Well, no, Harrison's gonna. You think you disagree with me, but you're not.
Okay.
Yeah, Boogie has been atrocious individually. Like he's shooting 1 of 25 or something.
He was
from the
4
field.
of 10 tonight.
4 of 10. Okay, which is his best shooting night of the 3.
2 of 3 from 3.
2 of 3 from 3, and then he had all turnovers. He gets these fouls. Does this or that. But I still think the impact.
He was a +2 tonight.
But the impact he has on the second unit is still a positive, which is interesting. Like even when he's bad, which might be just what he is now. Like maybe he can't post up as like he used to. Maybe he can't pass and do all the defend and do the stuff. But it doesn't matter. It still has a positive impact because of the physicality he brings inside and the pressure he puts on the paint.
Look, he had 13 points in the first half tonight. Or actually, no, he had 11 points in the first half. Sorry. That led all scores when he checked out of the game. It wasn't pretty, but it's points from the bench. That's hard to come by.
I agree.
The Nuggets, they've been desperately searching for any offense on the bench. Boogie Cousins had 11 points in the first half tonight. It's a massive development, I think. Even if it wasn't pretty, even if it wasn't the most efficient basketball of all time.
I just think it goes back to what we've been saying, and it's just that the structure of the bench makes sense suddenly. Like there are defined roles where you have a guy that's like the big lug in the middle. He can stretch it out a little bit, and He hit threes tonight, which was an amazing revelation. But
I'm
also
surprised he was 2 of 3. I felt like he took more than that.
Well, because the one
He had
break
one really
had
bad miss
was
and
like-
2 swishes.
was like a backboard breaker,
Yeah.
so it felt like, oh my god, please don't ever shoot again. But
yeah, but just the idea that the physicality is a massive addition to the second unit. It allows Zeke Nnaji to play, more like Saul from PHNX is here, who went to the University of Arizona. Big Zeke Nnaji guy said that when he watched him at Arizona, he was a physical player, was a rebounder,
Right.
didn't ever shoot the three. And so it's kind of interesting to see, like, that's not how we know Zeke to be playing at all. And I would say, since the addition of Boogie Cousins, we've seen a little bit of that.
Agree.
We've seen Zeke playing inside. So it's just, for me, it's the clarity that he brings more than anything, which is kind of hilarious.
How do you feel about the DeMarcus Cousins experiment and also tonight specifically?
So I think I agree with both of you. I think what you said applies more to his first 2 performances. I think tonight Wynn's right that he ultimately was particularly impactful. But then there's we said this in the pregame show, just by virtue of being the size that he is, he helps.
Right.
And that's your point, which I agree with. The physicality, this is definitely the second game where the starters have come back in ready to go to the line on non-shooting fouls because Boogie and the bench did that work. And then lastly, I just need to laugh.
Can we just laugh about
Boogie is
Cousins?
playing all of the hits on this team.
Yeah, he
This
really
is the
is.
best of Boogie Cousins.
my
It's
God.
incredible.
It's 3 technicals in 3 games.
An
Got ejected
ejection.
tonight.
He had like 5 fouls in 10 minutes the other night.
The
A tech
only
from the free throw
He
line.
also had 6 rebounds tonight.
But he was good tonight.
In
rebounding
13
has been
minutes,
there all 3 games. That's the one constant.
3 offensive rebounds tonight, and one
I
of those
like
he
it.
put back.
It is interesting
I
for
like
me
it.
to find out that when Boogie Cousins gets ejected for his pouty scowl, that it makes me laugh. Regardless, I used to laugh because it was on the other team and I would benefit from it. When it happens on our team, it's somehow more hilarious. I don't even know.
Yeah, that ejection was comical.
So I
tonight.
actually understand why he has a comedy show now. He's hilarious.
Well, the ejection also had Jokic play 35 minutes tonight on a back-to-back, which, again, we talk about my concern for this specific road trip. Not off to a great start minute-wise for Jokic.
Well, this was one of the games we had penciled in as a potential rest
That's
game.
a potential
for
rest
Jokic.
game, and instead it's actually 35, which is more than his season average. So
Do we
a
know
little bit-
anything?
Well, I mean, it only I think he was on pace to
us,
play a
we're-
lot.
We're wrong about everything all the time.
He was on pace to play a lot fewer minutes
sure.
tonight than that. But I don't know. Here, my point with Boogie is he goes 4 of 10 tonight. And I think overall he's shooting below 30% on for the Nuggets over 3 games. My point is I'm not sure that that's abnormal. I don't know that this is going to be like we're going to get 50% from the field DeMarcus Cousins.
Sure.
This might be kind of who he is, and the turnovers and this or that might be who he is. But it can still be a positive impact on the team even with that,
Yeah.
and that's where I'm at. I just don't know if it's like, hey, he's getting warmed up kind of thing.
Right.
I think Michael Malone kind of needs to rein him in a little bit too. Like, look,
Good luck, man.
Boogie, this is Malone's guy. I don't know if DeMarcus Cousins is on this team right now if Michael Malone's not the coach. In fact, I doubt he is.
Sure.
So if I'm Michael Malone, he's got to go to him and be like, dude, you can't get thrown out of games on a 10-day contract. When our starting center picks up 2 fouls
That's
in the
actually
first
the
quarter.
most amazing thing. That's like showing up as a temp worker and just
Yeah. It's mouthing off to the boss as a temp.
getting sent home early.
He picked up a tech from the free throw line and then got another one.
Yeah, while shooting a free throw. No, but I think Mike Malone
my
honestly
God.
has to rein him in a little bit. You got to calm down. You can't get thrown out of games, and maybe just not try to force things as much on the offensive end because he can speak to him.
Sure.
Can he?
If there's anyone that
Yeah, if we're
can.
going to pick a guy, Wynn's right.
We'll find out. Let's take our first break. On the other side, though, Will Barton had a very uneven game. It was really good and also really bad in part, so we'll talk about
I
that.
call that the Will Barton game.
Also, Aaron Gordon also kind of really good and really bad in different pockets of this game, so we'll talk about that as well.
Sexy Pizza has been in Denver for 13 years. They're as local as it gets. Hand-tossed deck oven pizza with made-from-scratch dough each morning. They make that dough each morning. They've got tons of awesome pizza options at Sexy Pizza. They've got sides. They've got salads. The garlic knots are phenomenal. So, also at Sexy Pizza, a portion of every sale from 5 of their specialty pies is donated to a range of different nonprofits right here in Colorado. You can order online at sexy.pizza. You can also visit one of their 4 Denver locations, Cap Hill South, Pearl Jefferson Park, and Park Hill. At DraftKings Sportsbook this week, guys, 4 teams remain in the NFL playoffs, and that means only 4 teams left for you to bet on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Counting down to Super Bowl 56, new customers can get 56-1 odds on any team. Bet just $5 and get $280 in free bets if your team wins. Not a new customer? That's okay. You can still get in the game with same-game parlays. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR. Get 56-1 odds on any NFL team. Bet just $5 and win win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code DNVR for 56-1 odds at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older. Card only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
Big gambling weekend for you?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I'm probably going to take this weekend off. It's been a rough couple nights.
I am not a good football bettor.
No?
I'm going to be on the tailgate handing out football picks. So I'll see you then.
Perfect. Will Barton tonight, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Goes 3 of 8 from the three-point line. He begins this game. He opens it with 2 straight three-pointers. He also opened it with a monster dunk. So he's coming off of a hamstring injury.
Yep.
And we were talking about how he hasn't had a ton of pop and explosion. He had like a really good dunk earlier in this game.
Arguably the most athletic play I've seen from him this year.
No, he had the one. You saw one more. The dunk. He had a dunk. Remember, like first 3 games of the year.
He did
that
one that looked a lot like that.
It did look a lot like it.
That's too far back for me to remember. To be
But
honest.
it's the first time since then. I agree.
But
It's been a while.
Yeah. But, he does finish 8 of 20. Like, this was one of those games where it's like he was so good for a while, and then there was little pockets of, like, what the heck, man? It always happens with him that way, where there's, like, he could have had a great percentage tonight, but there was 4 shots in about a 3-minute span where you're like, well, what's going on right now?
Well, it's usually the third for Will. Tonight it was the second quarter, and then he was good in the third. He was 60-40 tonight, 60% the worst player on the floor, and 40% very good. And I think in the first it was a big part of why Denver got out to that cushion again. We have to remember that Jokic didn't look very good in the first. Right. Almost no one looked ready to shoot.
Barton came out on fire.
So,
he hit 2 3-pointers to start the game.
And that's what he does
This was a classic.
But then
Barton performance.
Just as hard as he pressed to create those openings, it created some of those problems in the second. He was not ultimately very good tonight. But I still liked his approach, Eric, because I thought he recognized this is a fairly lethargic yoke, and no one seems to be particularly getting after it tonight. So I appreciated him at least making that choice.
Dude, his lovers and haters are full tonight. Like, they each has a full meal that they snacked on. Like, his haters will tell you that Will Barton hit the side of a backboard on a 3.
Well, I think twice.
And then he
Twice,
attempted to shoot a shot off of the backboard that rivaled the Russell Westbrook backboard shot. That is the worst shot I've ever seen in my entire life. But then he also is a big reason the Nuggets won. So, again, the full Barton experience. Lovers and haters, have a great night, both of you.
Yeah, Will Barton lover checking in right here. I thought he was good tonight.
See, look at him.
21 and 10 and 4 and 2 steals and a block. Like 10 rebounds for Will Barton, and
Big
the Nuggets
time.
out-rebounded the Nets 48-38. Like, that was big right
Some of
there.
them are big, too.
Yeah.
Not just, like, grabbing a free throw rebound or something like that. He had a couple of
3
important
offensive rebounds.
I agree with you ultimately, Win.
I would just flip yours. You said 60-40. I think he was 60% good. Like, honestly, there was more that was just kind of, like, impressive. But the pockets that were bad happened all in a row, and you're like, oh, boy, man, what's really going on here? Aaron Gordon was a guy that, you talk about yoke sleepwalking. I thought Aaron Gordon sleptwalked through this game all the way up until the final, 4 minutes of the game, where he made multiple huge plays, including a jumper that looked like it had no chance of going in. That was huge. It was kind of like a
Big
push the
assist from
lead
Adam
up.
on that one.
Big assist from me, thinking, what the heck are you doing? And then he drains it. And then, of course, the big block shot, man, was just maybe the play of the game. He probably got the defensive play of the game chain for that one play tonight.
Dude, this is, if you want to.
You don't think it was Jeff Green?
Or did he get it again?
0 steals, 0 blocks again.
That's
so
true.
maybe back to back.
If an alien arrived here on Earth today, knew nothing about the Nuggets, knew nothing about basketball, and he were like, I want to tell you about Will Barton. You could just look at the chat. The chat says, certified Barton lover. Barton would be a great 6-man. He was awful. Get him off the team. He sucked. He's great.
I will say Will Barton is he's in the eye of the beholder. So I'm telling you, you can enjoy him. It's like you have to meditate.
You have to just accept that internally.
Yeah, you have to accept it. To accept Will Barton into your heart.
Live by the thrill, die by the thrill, baby.
This is another thing about following teams and stuff is like we are in the era of just like always wanting to like trade this guy or get rid of that guy. Like, guys, Barton's here. He's gonna be here. It's kind of like not going anywhere. You guys, you might as well like change your approach to him. Like, I think you'll actually have a better Nuggets experience if you hope for Will Barton to be the player you want him to be, rather than hope that he gets traded somewhere, because that's not. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
you might as well hope for the thing that's possible at least.
Yep. You were talking about Aaron Gordon. He went 4 of 11 from the field, 0 of 5 from 3. Whenever he's bordering on 50% of his shots or around that are from 3, probably a bad sign.
Yeah,
that was the case tonight.
I mean, he was definitely in slow motion. Monte Morris, 4 of 9, 0 of 2 from the 3-point line. He continues his sort of cold shooting from the 3-point line. 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. We have any Monte takes? Do we have any takes about this game, or is it just?
I did not catch it. Did not watch the game.
The guy I think we can, maybe Zeke Nnaji. I mean, I thought had some interesting things. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 of 4. There were moments in this game where you felt like Tenacious Zeke was there.
He showed up a little bit.
He showed up a little bit in pockets there of like, all right, there you are, trying to go at guy. In fact, he had a muscle. He actually got a foul he drew where he actually just like shoved the guy off of him. They called the foul on the defender.
I was proud of him for that.
I was proud of him too, because that is the kind of stuff where it's like, yes, you need to bully some guys sometimes, and he did.
It was. I'm telling you, like, sometimes you just need to see players through the eyes of somebody else, and seeing Zeke Nnaji through the eyes of Saul, who again watched him in college, described him as a beast. I was like, is he a beast? And then he, in a very beast-like manner, muscled his way in. I'm like, maybe he's a beast. I just haven't seen him. Maybe I don't know what a beast is.
I thought it was another positive game from Zeke.
Yeah.
In a string of a few positive games from him now. I'm very happy he was in the rotation again. No sign of JaMychal Green tonight. I think he was available, JaMychal Green, but he didn't play. So I hope this is the backup front court going forward. Zeke Nnaji, DeMarcus Cousins. We can enter some other rotation talk if you want.
I do. Let me hear it. Okay. Let me hear it.
Well,
lead us there.
Sure. So no Bones Highland tonight.
Right.
And it's interesting because last night in Detroit, Michael Malone goes to an 11-man rotation in the first half.
Yeah.
Dave Von Reed and Bones Highland both played in the first half. In the second half, he cuts it down to 10. Bones Highland doesn't play. Tonight, he goes to 10 right off the bat. Really, 10 guys played for the Nuggets tonight, and no Bones Highland. So, kind of in the doghouse, I think.
I think that is probably accurate. We could probably extrapolate that information based on what we've seen the last few days. I mean, it could change, but at the moment.
I don't know if he's in the doghouse so much as there's been some sort of reflection and or epiphany on the way the second unit is built that one of those guards has to go, and that I'm not terribly surprised that for Malone it's the rookie guard who struggles on defense and definitely shouldn't be playing any 3. Now, there's many of conversations we've had him in circles all year about if you can get him on the floor in other ways, but I don't know if it was so much that Malone is down on Bones so much as after these trades and the Boogie signing, does Bones make as much sense in Malone's eyes in a second unit as he did before? To us, the answer is yes, because we want to see that scoring. But to me, this is less of like a something happened and maybe more of like how it's playing out organically for Malone.
That 360 pass to Malone on the bench happened last night.
Maybe that was it. And you might be right about that, man.
I feel like the fact that he barely played last night and then did not get in a game that was a back-to-back and should have been the ability to rest some of maybe the older players is pretty damning.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that this is probably for the foreseeable future, maybe the rotation that they will kind of roll with. Also, we know Michael Malone, man. They're 3-0.
Yep.
Like, I mean, come on. Like, this is Malone's thing. He does not make changes when you're winning. Yeah.
But when you think about it, it's probably not that surprising that he didn't play. I mean, Will Barton was back tonight, played 34 minutes. We know they like Facu as the backup point guard on that second unit.
He was also good tonight.
Austin Rivers has been ahead of Bones Highland in the rotation. So
Austin Rivers might have solidified himself for a while.
Right.
I mean,
he
might have
definitely at least bought himself another
some
couple
games.
weeks probably.
Yeah.
Bryn Forbes hasn't made much of an impact yet, but he's ahead of Bones too.
Yeah. What did you think of Bryn Forbes tonight?
Non-factor. He hit a 3. Don't really remember it.
I've had a weird thing with Forbes so far in which I have yet to really see him be, particularly good in like an encouraging way. And yet when I see him curling off a screen, I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll take it. He can shoot if he wants,
Yeah. I get the sense from him he's still like trying to impress his new team. Like he seems like a little squirrely to me still. Like, you know what I mean? He's like kind of coming up
nervous a lot.
That's
to
what
me.
I mean. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't look like he's necessarily in or just taking the shots he would normally be taking. He's kind of like, I don't know, pressing a little bit still, not as much as he did the first night. But to me, he does not seem as though he is what we can ultimately expect from him.
I still really like him. I think he might even potentially look better in the playoffs when he's just playing with more starters and you cut the bench down and there's less of the starters play and then the bench plays. It's tough to look good on the bench unit.
Kale, do we have the buy or sell graphic? If so, we could go to we should play a little buy or sell, a little impromptu buy or sell here.
How impromptu. It really put Kale on it.
Well, yeah, real impromptu. Find the graphic in a real pinch here, Kale. We talked about the best 5-man lineup, best starting lineup, Nuggets starting lineup. It's been fantastic. Are you buying or selling this as a meaningful statistic that starting lineup is really is great?
Buying it. Those starters can hang. And listen, almost 1,000 people at home just yelled, "That's because of Jokic." I know, but he's a part of that lineup.
Stop yelling at me, people.
Yeah, he's a part of that lineup, though. So, listen, I think that group has shown. We were talking about how the bad losses came to the good teams. I felt like in each of those games, Memphis and Utah, I'm like, Denver starters can hang.
Yeah.
Just the bench has a lot to figure out. But I do feel at the halfway point that even this group, hindered, not quite at full strength, is a good playoff starting lineup.
Yeah.
So, I'm AG, Jokic, and Barton when he's healthy. It works.
Really, Jokic AG is a big starting
and
point.
And Jeff Green, too, by the way.
So, and then, that trio alone. Are you buying or selling this, Eric, as not just a good lineup, but a great one?
I'm buying. I mean, they're playing well. They're like confusingly good, like oftentimes, or deceptively good. Like if I didn't know, like if I didn't have all of the information and I wasn't able to see like, oh wow, they actually are performing really well against teams. Like my eye test is not like telling me like, oh man, I cannot wait till the starters get back on. In the same way when MPJ and Jamal were in the fold, where you're like, oh, they're coming back.
Right.
Starters are back. But like for where we are, I mean, you've got to buy, right? Like what other options do we have?
Harrison?
You got to buy it. It's the main reason why the Nuggets are where they are. It's really the central reason why. It's because their starting lineup is great.
Yeah.
And the 3 losses in the last 11 games that the Nuggets have won 8 of, I mean, 2 of them are squarely on the bench. The Clippers loss, that was just an ugly-ass game. But the bench got run off the floor against Utah and then again against Memphis. And if the bench is just bad and not really bad, I mean, they might be on a 11-game winning streak right now.
It's entirely possible. So let's ask that one next. Are you buying or selling the Nuggets' new look bench, the 5-man unit we put out there, that it can be a -5 +5 team? Like maybe a -5, maybe a +5, but not going to deviate from that more often than not.
I'm not convinced, right? Given it's Detroit twice and the Knots, as we pointed out, but I'm buying. Like, give me more. I think it's a better direction than they've been headed in. Thrilled they even have a direction to go in.
Right.
And so I'm encouraged. We know that the bench hasn't been good enough against good teams, and so we'll wait to see that. But I think, Eric, for me, it's been a no doubt, really, that the bench looks better lately.
Dude, it's like, are you buying what formerly you were burning? Like, that bench has been horrific. So,
Right.
the minor upgrade that we've seen that makes them at least like acceptable is like a massive upgrade. So like, how could you not buy?
Harrison, you're the same? Are you buying it?
So I'm a cautious buy.
Like if I told you like this next Pelicans game, like are they gonna, is it gonna be good?
I think they'll look good.
You think they'll look good?
I mean, it is the Pelicans.
Okay. Well, it's funny because
We'll see how they look against the Bucks.
Bucks is tough, but then you go to like Minnesota, who has an atrocious bench as
That's
well.
the thing.
so-
There's a lot of really bad benches in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's been tough to remember because as bad a benches that there are, the Nuggets bench has been somehow worse than like all of them so far this year. But I think with Zeke and Boogie and Austin Rivers getting some confidence and playing like he has over the last month or so, I think there's more ingredients there now. Bryn Forbes too. I like Bryn Forbes. I think there's more ingredients there now than there were, 2 weeks back.
Right.
Definitely.
If we go all the way back to that Clippers loss, the Nuggets are 6-2 now. I guess we can go back even further. They're 9-5 in their last 14. That's where you go all the way back to the first Clippers game, which they won. So 9-5 in the last 14 is that upswing. Like, okay, you're starting to get a little bit of traction. That's a decent sample size. Are you buying that one? I'll start with you this time, D-Line. Are you buying that the Nuggets, that 9-15, hey, that's about what kind of ball they're playing right now? 9-5, I mean.
I don't know, man.
You're just not feeling it.
I don't know, man. Like
Eric is not feeling
what's
the
the
Nuggets this year.
question?
The Nuggets have crushed him, man. He was.
Well,
really
listen. I mean, come on. I am, as you know, a Nuggets fan through and through. But I am a fan of myself and my own well-being above all else. And I just, until we get back to where I know that we are, it's just so hard to like really sink your teeth in with anything on this team right now. It all feels so like transient, like everything is changing.
It's
the
just how
lineup
this
is
year
different.
has been, though,
That's what I
man.
mean. Like, do I believe in the Nuggets as a concept? Like, yes, I'm like still really bought in on the idea. Like, I love the Denver Nuggets. I really want them to win. Like, but I see like problems everywhere, just like everyone who watches this team. I mean, we're just held together by tape and rubber bands at this point. Every night is just a complete adventure. And so
Honestly, I think a lot of teams are saying that this year.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think that is essentially like the way of it this year. It just,
There
but it
are
just doesn't feel like you can sink your teeth into anything.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Well
But
said,
there
Eric.
are just very few teams who have had like a season where it's just all gone according to plan. You're feeling great about the team from game one until game like whatever we're on right now. It's Phoenix. It was Chicago, and now their season's gone off the rails.
Yep.
Golden State, that not anymore. They've had a really rough last couple of weeks. Somebody just died going down the stairs.
Kale, maybe check on that one.
But
Everyone all right?
Oh, that was bad.
That was about to be a dark turn in the
That was
lounge.
about to be a dark.
but very few teams had this year. It's really just Phoenix, like right now, who have just had a season where they can feel good about everything that's happened. Maybe Memphis too.
But you know what I'm buying right now is that the Nuggets can win these games. And they've lost enough of them, and particularly the Clippers one, in dramatic enough fashion that that reputation has carried over. Oh, this team blows. But the Nuggets actually this year taking care of business against below 500 teams, and that's been the recipe to success. Now, you may want to follow that up with, well, that's not a playoff formula. But again, that's not the group that's coming into the playoffs, right? So that's all irrelevant anyway. The name of the game is picking up wins. Agree with Rayvon that they're lacking statement wins, but the formula is about these wins right now, and they're getting them. Are you okay? Should we build a ramp?
Everyone that covers the Avs is a disaster.
My God.
Guys, so I just got a text from friend of the show, super fan Tony Niehaus over at Rumpier Sports.
Big T.
Professional gambler, a.k.a.
T.
Big T. And I just have to read it verbatim here. Most
Leave out the
pessimistic,
swears.
yes, most pessimistic group of donkeys I've ever.
I hope
heard,
I'm not
having
included
the
in that
best
group,
player in
Big
the
T.
world on your side.
I just want to
can't
state
wait-
that
hey,
I am not in this
I
group.
can't wait to be on the panel to set you negative bastards straight.
Yeah.
You were wrong about
He's
every
coming
one of your
into town,
takes,
like-
by the way, last year, Tony.
What's that?
Tony came in hot, and he was wrong about every one of his takes last year.
What?
When he came in,
He
and was
did
saying,
get all those Nuggets bets
he
wrong,
was like,
actually.
oh, we're going to kill the Lakers. You're wrong about every take. So come in with your
You
hot
guys, want to
fire.
know something fun about this job? You're always wrong. Doesn't matter what you say. You're always
I
wrong.
feel optimistic about this team right now. I really do.
I'm with
I'm
Vince.
trying to portray that. I guess
with
that's not coming across.
Here's what I would say is that the Nuggets had that hard schedule, and that really paints like the first 5 weeks of a season paints every narrative there is. And the Nuggets had a really tough opening stretch, and they had a really tough, second 5 weeks of the season. And now what I think is they've had a very what they've had is a very soft part of their schedule, and they've won them all. So it's like I think this is balancing out. 9-5. Am I buying that? No. The number I'm buying is 26-21. That feels about right. That's the Nuggets record. That feels about right. And by the way, 26-21, the Nuggets are as close at the moment to the 4 seed, the Utah Jazz, as they are to the Los Angeles Lakers right now. So, like the Lakers who are just right next to them have fallen back. The Nuggets now are. You could almost be more optimistic that they'll catch the Utah Jazz, who, by the way, kind of suck right now, than they were. Man, it might shape up, actually. If the Nuggets can't keep this up on this road trip, it might shape up that we get to that 6 game at 9 nights, and we're like, you got to do it because you can take the 4 seed. Like,
No, if the Nuggets
did it last
sweep
night.
this road trip somehow, like I'll flip the switch.
That's what it's going to take as a sweep? Well, we originally said par was what, 3-3?
No, we said 2 and 4 is acceptable.
Yeah, 2 and 4 is acceptable. 3 and 3 was par.
2-0.
2-0. Just getting off to a good start.
Let's go.
Let's take our second break. We'll get super chats. Tony Niehaus, very upset with you, Eric. He says,
Bring it on.
Wasn't wrong about shit. He's incorrect.
I'm sorry, Tony. I'm
the
gonna check
thing
that.
is
That's classic Big T. Right
We have receipts. We can play them back.
It was on the air.
That was recorded, by the way.
Guys, if
Shout out
you're
Big T.
in the Denver area, if you're local, come down to the DNVR bar. We've got tons of Breck Brew seltzers on tap. Look, we know Breck Brew, the official beer of DNVR. We know them for their beer. Most people do, but they just rolled out these seltzers. What was that, like a year ago? They're phenomenal.
Who knows, dude? Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows what time is it even this point? But Breck Brew seltzers are awesome. They're sold right here in the bar. You can get them at your local liquor store as well if you're not here in Denver. Great flavors. The peach is phenomenal. Definitely the top flavor. No debate there. But pick up some Breck Brew seltzers for the next Nuggets game in 2 days against the Pelicans.
Let's go.
If you are looking to buy a house, if you're looking to take out a mortgage,
You should. Most people should. Not everyone, but most people should look into it. It's not as hard as you think.
it's not. And Chevalier Mortgage makes it even easier. Mike and Virginia Chevalier, they've been in the mortgage business forever. They know all the ins and outs. They know all the tricks. You can visit them at dnvrmortgage.com. You can sign up for a free consultation, and they'll set you up. They'll tell you everything you need to know. They'll make that process super, super easy for you. So again, visit them at dnvrmortgage.com. Michael Chevalier, NMLS number 1931006. Virginia Chevalier, NMLS number 1910631.
Well done. You done?
Yep.
I want to remind everybody,
job.
this
What a pro.
we've been actually going through, so if you don't know this, up on our YouTube page, we've been having the Goaties, where we look back at 2021 and we hand out awards. We've already we've already done panel shows. They're really great. They feature all of us talking about different things. Just to let you know what we've argued from a Nuggets perspective. The play of all Denver sports, not just of the Nuggets last year, the play was Nikola Jokic's pass. There's so many great Jokic plays that you almost have to, like, it was great to jog our memory and say, like, oh, yeah. Do you guys remember the pass in Game 5 of the Portland Nuggets series where Jokic waits? It's actually a game winner to Michael Porter in the corner, and he waits.
Aaron Gordon makes the cut. Then
Aaron
he makes
Gordon,
the pass.
right as he makes the cut, he throws it right over where
Robert Covington
jumps up.
Future Nugget.
and he made it right over. It was the perfect pass that went right to Michael Porter, who drains the corner three, which was what broke the tie in double overtime. That's
And
our
really
nominee.
won the series. Like,
It
that
really
was
won
the
the
defining moment of the series.
That, in our opinion, is the greatest play in Denver sports history. But you guys got to participate.
year.
You got to hop
For the
on
year.
and vote for these
last
if you
year.
go and look at it.
The year.
Yeah, last year.
You said Denver sports history.
Dude, and
it's a long, it's a harder win.
That
Yeah,
moment
last
was so good in and of itself, but it also produced the image of Michael Porter Jr. rising
Yeah.
up, and then you could just look at every player
Collins.
that
Oh,
was
yes.
in, like,
Nurkic, Collins,
Melo was on the
Zach
ground.
Collins, straight from Charlottesville.
and he would just and it was so beautiful.
It really was.
By the way, I think you talked about that as a Jokic pass. I've always thought about that as a Porter play, and it's just semantics. But for me,
both, yeah.
Really?
That to me, that's when I think
That
I
shot
miss
was
Michael
nails.
Porter Jr. I see that head.
To me, it's both. You're right. I call it the Jokic pass because
we're splitting hairs,
but it's the same as the Aaron Gordon play. Honestly, like and in many ways, it was an identical play. Jokic, end of clock, wasting clock, waiting, and then throwing it right at the end. So then, of course, draining the corner three. So.
What people forget about that shot, though, that game for Michael Porter Jr., I think he had 23 in that game. That was after a game 4 when he had 2 points.
Right.
Norman Powell completely took him out of the game.
Yeah.
He was down so bad. Like one of the worst games he's ever played.
I think he was 10 of 13 or 11 of 13 from the field, too. Like
and
it
then
was
he
a
bounced back
hyper-efficient
with
game.
just a massive game in game 5.
Maybe 10 of 12. I
And
don't
the game
remember.
winner.
The memories.
You when you watch Michael Porter highlights, you're just like, oh, yeah, that's right. He makes every
Dude,
three.
He
It is
doesn't
the
seem
ultimate-
real, man.
He doesn't seem real.
You know, the craziest thing about Michael
Like,
Porter...
wait, this guy played for us for 2 years?
Do you guys remember that?
You guys are out
The
dope.
most wild
tight.
thing about Michael Porter Jr. is that he tailed off at the end of last season, started off terrible at the beginning of this season. So, like, you have like kind of a weird
Exactly,
memory of him. But,
exactly,
like,
dude.
Yeah.
he also turned in the most efficient shooting performance since Wilt Chamberlain when he was shooting threes.
Right. Yeah, when he was just shooting exclusively contested jumpers.
God damn it.
But he's coming back to us, so get excited.
been a
Anyway,
long 2
check out the
years.
Goaties. They're really good conversations. I honestly think you guys will enjoy them. They're like little mini podcasts, like 15-minute podcasts.
Yeah.
You are reminded of all the cool things that happen. And by the way, if you're really into it, and I hope you are, we are doing a live podcast on Saturday here at the DNVR Bar,
Let's go.
7 o'clock. We really hope you guys come out. We have a whole production going on. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have trivia. We're going to have all kinds of different stuff. And you have a chance to come on the show. Do you want to be online with D-Line? Do you want to?
I certainly
Yes.
don't.
Do you want to be play Family Feud against Brendan Vogt? You have a chance to do that.
Do you want me to make fun
again,
of you on the fan
fan-
vote?
Family
Family.
feud.
We're not trying to get canceled here.
We're not trying to get sued here. So I'm begging you guys, please come out to the bar on Saturday. Let's get to some Super Chats here, Kel.
Oh, wait, can I just really quickly?
Yeah.
Facu played well tonight. Okay, carry on.
He
that's
did?
That's the second time you've shoehorned
I
that in.
thought Facu played well tonight.
He did?
I thought he did.
Oh, okay.
Bench looked good, and I thought Facu was the point guard.
Trevor, I promise
it
it's
there.
not a bit. As soon as we watch a game where the Nuggets lose, I will let you know and stop spending your college money on Super Chat.
Let's go, Trevor.
Trevor, man. Yeah,
You're going to win Commenter of the Year at the 2022 Goaties.
I feel like maybe his daughter should win it, not Trevor. Awesome work. Sun Valley Drive says, will Boogie get another 10-day? Is Boogie the center of the rest of the year? Or would anyone else make sense? Boban if he gets waived.
Boban's been the fever dream for 5 years now.
Dude, if the atmosphere was able to put together the Nuggets, it would consist of
Nikola
Kevin Love.
Jokic, Nikola Jovic, and Boban.
No, it would be Kevin Love, Robert Covington, and Boban. That would be the entire Nuggets.
DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, we're 3 games. What are we, 6 days or 5 days into this 10-day? Maybe 6. Halfway there. We predicting an extension on
Yes,
this 10-day?
definitely.
No question about
No
it.
question.
Unless he just keeps getting kicked out of games.
Dude, I think it's like it just kind of makes games more fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of into
Wait,
it.
how many technicals
I
do
think
you
it's
get
kicked
before
out.
you
That's
get
what I was gonna
suspended
say.
for a game?
I think it's
Imagine
kicked
if
out
he got
every game.
suspended on a 10-day.
Do his technicals from Milwaukee carry over to
Yo,
this?
Great question.
These are the questions
These
I
are the
have.
questions we got to know, man. We got to know.
Did he have any technicals in Milwaukee?
Of
I
course
think he had
did.
one. I know he had one because I
So he
100%
could
come
be
across.
sitting on 4 technicals right now.
How many do you get? Like 15 or 16 or
Something
something
like
like that. Well, we'll have to keep track.
Oh, my God.
10-day, next 10-day for Boogie?
Like, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I think if you figure out the tax stuff with some of the trade deadline stuff, I think they should just give him a deal.
What's so funny about this, man, is you start to look at it and you go, okay, is there another player you have? And we talked about a trade. You've got JaMychal Green on the shelf. You know, is there a move you make? You got Bones Highland collecting dust now.
Yeah,
and-
I mean,
Is
JaMychal Green, just the obvious guy to get traded.
Yeah, I think you look at that.
But then what are you bringing back is my point. Because you bringing back another piece. Like, that's the whole point
If
of
you
it.
can get like JaMychal Green, but just in a small forward's body.
Yeah. A wing.
Yeah.
And then
All
you
right.
sign Cousins and he's your center, and it's better than what you had.
All right. Nugs fan says, it is my dream to buy Eric a beer at the DNVR bar.
wow.
your dream.
You don't have the greatest dreams.
Yeah,
my
you got to
friend.
shoot higher, my man.
You literally can
But
do that.
by all means,
can-
You did. He gave you $2.
Right,
Yeah.
dude. Is that like half a beer?
Yeah, like, that's just a small beer. It's a really small beer.
a match
My
shot.
It's a
God.
small beer, but we still appreciate it, or at least Eric does.
I know. Screw them.
You know what? You might have just bought a beer at Serbia, by the way. I'm telling you guys, plans coming together for
my
our
God,
Serbia trip.
don't
So I don't want to
tease
get
me
everybody
Dude,
excited.
are we gonna is this
Plans
officially gonna be
coming
known
together.
as the international incident?
Like Franz Ferdinand is going to start the new World War. The Wikipedia page for World War III begins with the DNVR podcast.
It started off so innocently with
The
a trip to
incident that
Sombor.
really tripped up the whole Europe. Joseph says,
There's some real disaster potential, actually.
who more than Boogie
Start
can
a
you
world-
count on to get
start a
fouled
worldwide
than pick up a
incident.
tee on the way to the free throw line? It's so true. That was a Boogie. Getting a technical at the
Dude,
foul line is
honestly,
pretty
like
funny.
if Boogie Cousins wasn't so deep in his career and we didn't know exactly who it was, like I would be so livid and beside myself. But like knowing who he is, I'm tickled.
All Boogie
It's
has
like
to do
so
to get a
hilarious.
technical is just look at the referee.
I mean his resting bitch face is so powerful.
It really is.
I think it's so funny, though, that the Brooklyn Nets have KD, Kyrie, James Harden, LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, Steve Nash, and Amari Stoudemire, and they all just seem absolutely miserable.
Of course,
Like, you know
they
what I mean?
are.
It's just
mean,
like
look
they're
at that
all
team.
Even Amari's over there like jawing on the line. And you see the assistant
They're
coaches
playing
are like,
for
"What the hell, dude?"
a soulless team and a soulless arena of fans who are chanting MVP for Nikola Jokic.
Hey,
Of
you know-
course, they're
you know-
miserable.
By
You
the
know
way-
you're down bad if you have those 3 stars
By
and
the
they're
way-
still doing the road team MVP.
Do you guys remember in the first third of the season when Steph Curry became the first player in the history of basketball to get MVP chance on the road? Only Steph, I was told.
All right, here we
Only
go.
Steph.
What do we get? Pep says, rep DNVR shirts at the game tonight. A lot of Nugs fans there. We're going streaking. Hell
Yes.
yeah,
Go,
dude.
Peps.
You are our guy,
That's
Peps.
king
Or
shit.
girl.
Or
You
girl,
are a guy or
thank you.
girl.
Yeah.
What else we got here? David Walker, he tells us, went to my first Nuggets game in 3 years. I'm selfishly glad Jokic didn't rest. Of course, man.
Yes,
I have
I'm
people hit
glad
me up
for
today
you.
saying, hey, is Jokic playing? I'm buying tickets.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I can't tell you that, but go because you'll have fun. But also, Jokic never rests. What else we got? Haley, our girl, says, Boogie wearing number 4 means he's our stepdad.
True.
Yeah, so I can't
Sure,
believe we haven't
rules are
talked
rules.
about this yet.
Rules are rules.
Oh, I hate that number on him.
Yeah.
It looks terrible.
He's like
Number 4 does look really weird. on
he
it.
is, and like in true stepdad form, very abusive.
Yeah, it's so true. He is the perfect stepdad to Millsap's dad.
Eric, that is so dark.
Sure is.
All right, what else we got?
Oh,
Big T.
he should change
Big
his
T
number,
throwing
though.
a 20 spot out here. Imagine easier money
have been a
than
good
Nuggets
night
at
for Big T.
halftime tonight. See you boys next month. Big T, I love it, man.
We love Big T.
I'm
Big,
just
Big
getting,
T bets like, if in my units, he bets like 1,000 units
yeah.
per
I'm
per
just
bet.
mentally preparing
I don't
for
like-
Big T on the show right now.
Me too. Me too. I don't like that. I was started off the show at odds with Big T. Who wants to be at odds with Big
Nobody.
T?
You don't want to be at odds
Not
with
because
Big
I'm
T.
scared. I just like. Why would you misalign yourself with vibes like that? Like
That's so
Big
true.
T, I'm sorry.
It's so true. I can't wait for his Jokic takes here in a month. Jack Bailey says Boogie might finish top of the league in tax in literally 10 days. I can't
I'm going to
wait.
look up the technical
I can't.
foul
I hope he
numbers
gets
right
10. 10 day, 10 techs. It would be incredible. What else we got? Mitch Z says there's a lot of J.R. Smith DNA in Austin Rivers. Of course, man. There's a mold of player that is that type of player. I will say Austin Rivers, when I was looking it up tonight, his most games with most threes, he has a lot of games with like 4, 5, 6, 7 threes. Like,
He's a get hot guy, man.
but that's the thing is I think he averages out to like a 33% 3-point shooter, but I think he never shoots 33%. He either shoots 80%.
Horribly or-
like,
Yep.
He's either 7 of 10 or 0 of 4.
DeMarcus Cousins is tied for 36th in the league in technical fouls with 4.
Where is he? Can you sort by minutes?
He's definitely played the fewest minutes, probably.
Okay. There you
Oh, dude.
I don't need to sort.
His TPM is quite high.
go. What else we got? Josh from Down Under says 2 top humans, 1 court tonight. Jokic and Patty Mills, our guy from Down Under.
I saw Josh say in the pregame chat it was like Australia Day or something.
Where?
Like
In Australia.
In Australia?
Australia celebrates Australia Day.
What? I don't know if
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
like
we
their
look-
July 4th
I'm
or
sure
something.
it's their
or-
July 4th. Yeah.
Australia Day.
That's great, though.
Patty Mills is the most confident shooter I've ever seen in my life, and when he plays the Nuggets, seems
Yeah.
entirely justified.
He's really good, man. He'd be a fun Nugget.
Yeah,
Oh,
Australia
fun
Day.
nugget.
Wednesday, January 26th. Australia Day, the official national day of Australia.
Yeah, it's like their July 4th.
Was there like a detail? I thought you were going to talk about like the famous battle.
I thought I was too, and then the sentence just ended.
I don't believe Australia was founded on a battle.
You don't think it was founded?
No, it's a lot.
I got it right here.
We're gonna get dark again.
Prisoners. Yeah, a little worse.
It marks the 1788 landing of the first fleet at Sydney Cove and raising of the Union flag. It's like 1492.
It's the same way that this country was
discovered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty.
Their Christopher Columbus moment.
Lance Wilson says, "I can't get enough of Jokic. Shoot him in my veins." By the way, who is Nick Wright? Doesn't matter. Great question. Great quote. He's just some a-hole that got rich because the internet sucks.
Can I say there's like no less TV-ready face than Nick Wright? Like how Nick Wright got to be
I know.
All right.
like a stage.
All right.
No, I don't care. Let me ISO here. This is just me saying this.
Go
How
ahead,
is that guy on television?
I just think we could always do better than just be like, that guy's ugly.
Really? We think we can do better than that?
I do think we could be better
I'm
than that.
going to rewind some of your takes from today.
Yeah, what do we got? We got Superstar Dev here, ready to share some wisdom. One last super chat. He says stepdad vibes, says Jeremy. Stepdad vibe. I like that he gave 222 too. Love that. All right, bring in now Superstar Dev live from his house. What's up, Dev?
My boys.
Hold on, we can't hear you.
Who's muted? Dev on his side? Dev?
It's not on my side.
You know what's going on here, Kel? No.
Dev, is this on your side? What's going on, bro?
I can't.
There you are. Now we can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yeah. Kel just had to turn the mic on.
I knew it.
Actually, I can't hear him again. Can you guys?
Vaguely.
We're going to have to do the thing where we can't hear you, and we're just going to ask, what did Michael Malone have to say?
Good. I didn't want to hear you guys. What I'll say is someone asked him, Mike Singer asked him if it was fun. He said, I wouldn't say that it's fun. I haven't felt fun in a very long time. But he did say that those type of wins are rewarding. He said that the Nuggets haven't played a perfect basketball, but they're winning games, and that's what matters, is just winning a lot of those games. He said, actually, that a lot of the NBA is winning the games that you're supposed to win. And that's something that we've talked about, on the DNVR show, is that's the difference between the Utah Jazz and just pretty much everyone else. They know how to beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, and the Nuggets kind of struggle with those type of wins. So that's just got to be the identity. They play up for the big games, but just having to close out those type of teams. So it was interesting to see Malone talk about that. He said that when he found out that James Harden was out, he talked up to the team and he asked them what their biggest concern was. And he said that Will told him that the team was just going to let up. And they did. You've seen that in the first half when I almost lost my house, when they just couldn't get their foot going. They couldn't get into a rhythm or anything like that. And Malone said that he didn't scream at them in the first half. At the halftime break, there was not any screaming. He said that he challenged the team at the half. He didn't go crazy, and to their credit, they stepped up and they played a lot better. And a big reason for that, as we know, was Austin Rivers, who had an awesome game. Austin Rivers he's been playing really well. He said Austin Rivers was shooting into a big basket, and we'll take it. Then they kind of spoke about the DMPs and not playing. And they asked him if he set him up, if he set up Austin Rivers, or if him not playing kind of motivated him. And he said, I wasn't setting him up for 25 points off the bench or anything like that. But, his teammates did it. He's a pro. He's a 10-year vet that's been in games, so he knows how to bounce back like that. That's just kind of, where he bounced around. He said that the second unit has struggled, and that is not on one person, and that kind of plays to the why Austin Rivers hasn't played too well. And Malone also admitted that he's often in search mode. So when you see a lot of those kinks and just adjustments in that second unit, he's in search mode. So he's trying to figure it out as well. And that was, a look behind the closet or behind the curtain for Malone. He said that he rode Austin Rivers over Jeff Green in that second half. And to Jeff Green's credit, he stayed rooting and he stayed professional. So this is not a team that's given up on them or is upset if another guy's having a big game. He went on to say that Austin Rivers was the MVP of the game, and he deserves credit for staying ready.
Awesome, man. That's good stuff. He wasn't asked about, any of the guys that didn't play, I'm guessing.
No one asked those tough questions.
All right, who else talked?
We got to. Well, he talked about. He just talked about DeMarcus Cousins, just to add that in there. He said that it was great to see him make some baskets. In the first few games, he felt like he struggled scoring the ball, but he said that wasn't surprising just because he had been out for too long. And he actually said that he challenged DeMarcus Cousins after he picked up his first tech. Malone said he went and whispered into DeMarcus's ear and told him, "Hey, you can't get another technical." And as we've seen, he picked up another technical. So he said since he loves him, he has to hold him accountable. He said that the Nuggets really need him, and he can't do those type of things, which was really, really interesting to hear about a guy that's on a 10-day contract, for them to say that they need him.
Yeah.
Like that just, it kind of just sets the tone of what the rest of the season is going to look like.
Yeah.
It's a message to the front office, if anything, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. But Malone was actually, he ended it on a very positive note. He said that, first off, he said he's just not on social media. He says that it's just, it's never happy. Everyone expects for the team to go 56-0, and it's just a negative place. But he said that Tim Connolly has been a really good, positive person in his life. That's just good on telling them to just enjoy the wins. There are going to be some ugly wins, and you just kind of have to enjoy that you are winning the game. He said that they're in the dog days, as he always says. They're in the dog days, and he's really proud of the team and how they've been playing.
That's cool, man. We don't really hear that too often, to be honest. Malone talking about Tim Conley.
Right. And thank God Tim is that guy, because Malone looked miserable tonight.
Yeah.
He
Malone
looked
actually
awful.
said he needs to calm the hell down.
Who said this?
Malone said he needs to calm himself. He needs to calm the hell down.
That's strong. I'm telling you, Malone just needed to get 5 games above 500. They're 26-21.
Yeah.
I just think he doesn't breathe until they get
some
there.
Pressure. There's some
it is
pressure
pressure.
on the coach when you have the best player in the league, and you have a contending team, and they're just not playing the way that they're supposed to. So, yeah, I would feel the pressure as well, and I wouldn't know how to calm the hell down.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Is there something about everything? It seems like when Malone goes back to New York, he gets more.
Maybe, man.
He's just
I love this take.
Yeah, he gets more agitated. He's there's guys looking for him or something.
Comes out he just becomes
he's just
more East Coast. Why are you looking at?
comes out.
I'm super nervous to go to the East Coast sometime with Brendan and just find out he's a complete asshole.
I'm a mean person.
No, but Malone, man, the game against Detroit, the home game on Sunday, I've never seen him more pissed off at the officials throughout a whole game than that one. It was constant.
It just slips back into an old comfortable pair of shoes, just being an angry East Coaster.
Yeah, the weather, the people, the smog.
Yeah.
I wonder if
The next
Malone,
person that we had
considers
up
him
to
a
talk
Colorado.
was Austin Rivers. Of course, he got a podium game after having that type of performance. And Austin Rivers actually, he also went behind the curtains. He said the last few games he feels like he's been shooting the ball really well. And for the first time in a while, he feels healthy. He said that he had a talk with Coach about a week and a half ago, and it was right after the game that he did not play in. And he said that he just had a conversation, and he knew that he was going to be able to play after that conversation. So I'm guessing they just had a down-to-earth talk where it's like, hey, give me an opportunity. But from there, we see that he's been starting, and, games like tonight, they really, really needed him. Just think about what they would have done if he did not play or start in this game. Who just knows what would have happened. So, that's just something that happened. He did go on to say that it's easy to play on this team because guys just make the right play. He said at the end of the day, he's really a scorer. He could really score the ball, and that's kind of what got him going. But he feels like he said he could do that consistently, but he knows his role in Denver. He said there were times that he drove or he could have shot it, but guys play the right way there. And if you play the right way, it's going to come back to you. It's really fun to play with the Nuggets.
Nice.
That's cool.
So, that was big.
I like it.
He spoke about playing with Brooklyn. He had that short stint in Brooklyn. He said that he was happy. He said he wished that it would have went a little bit different than it did, but he's happy that it happened because now he's with Denver, where he's really happy. He said that they asked him if he was upset about having those ugly type of wins. He said, "We take wins. We're not going to judge wins over here. We're going to take them. There are things that they could clean up, but at the end of the day, it's going to be about winning games." He said it's all defense for the Nuggets. He does not care, or the Nuggets do not care about offense, because at the end of the day, they have the best offensive player in the NBA, and they think they have the best player in the NBA.
Love it.
Facts.
Hell
Who
yeah.
won the defensive player of the game chain, Dev? That's all I really want to know.
Yeah, we need to know.
I have no idea.
God damn it.
I think I saw it was Jokic on Twitter, but fact check me on that.
Oh, it was Jokic?
chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a point in the broadcast that it just kicked everyone out. Everyone. Or maybe just me.
Oh, here it is. Yep, Yoke got it.
So yeah, then he just kind of went on to talk about his his time with Kobe. But like the biggest thing that he ended with is he said that those type of wins on the road is momentum builders, because getting a win like that, especially in New York, that's a trap game for a lot of players.
Interesting.
He said it's a trap game because there's a lot of distractions in New York, and a lot of guys go out for different reasons. So getting the type of win on the road, it builds a team's confidence. He added in the fact that they were without the three best players. And he was happy to see that the Nuggets took it as a business trip.
Yeah.
And it also helps they were only there probably for like 20 hours total.
Yeah.
But
Right. This is the quickest trip to New York you could possibly make. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I would do so many things in 20 hours in New York. So many things. Me and Eric for a night in New York.
Shut the city down, man. Shut it down.
Will Barton was the last person that actually got to talk on the game, and he started out just speaking about Rivers. He said that Rivers was just in the zone and feeling it. He was playing hard. He was making the right plays, and it's just a good sight to see. They asked him if not having Harden altered anything for the Nuggets. He said, "Not for me. I didn't play last game, so I really didn't think about who was playing for them. Just wanted to get on the right track. Our first time that we put together a good stretch of wins together, so that was the focus."
Nice.
He said with the type of season that they have with COVID and injury, you just have to find ways to win games. So that's what's important. Then
Nice.
he went on. They said something about Michael Malone just kind of being shocked about where the team is right now, especially record-wise, and if that shocks him. And he said, "No, not for me. We have the MVP. We have me. We have Aaron Gordon, and we have really good role players. Winning's still expected."
Confidence. I like it.
Yeah.
Not like Eric.
What are you talking about?
No confidence in this team.
That's not true. I
Or
just
in
said-
yourself.
Well, that's true.
The last
got me
thing that
there.
the last thing that he closed out with was just about Forbes and Cousins in that second unit. He said Cousins is just another guy that can stretch the floor, and then you can leave him open. He plays the right way. He comes from the Spurs. And then for Cousins, he said that it's a guy that it's a big body that they could throw the ball into, and he's going to get them a basket. He also could stretch the floor. So really positive night all around.
Yeah.
They don't care about ugly wins.
They shouldn't. This is the season
Not
of
at
ugly
all.
wins.
Not at all.
Ugly wins a lot better than ugly losses. It's
Yeah.
that's really the two options you have this season more 90% of the time.
It's
So
going to be ugly. What side of the ledger do you want to be on?
much rather be on the ugly wins. Dev, very excited to have you out of protocols.
Oh, baby.
We miss
We'll
you.
give you some workouts over the next 24 hours, see if you're ready to go, and then hopefully have you back on Friday.
Dev, feel free to bring that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles retro arcade box in, because that's all anyone cares about when you come on screen. So if we could put it in here with us, might get a couple more upvotes.
I got you. I'll bring them.
All right, my man.
Keep up the great work, buddy. Looking forward to reading your grades tomorrow morning.
Oh, hell yeah.
Alrighty. Should we go around the association quickly?
80, hey?
We
It's
could.
depressing because the Mavericks are playing the Blazers. You know how sad I was? I was like, "Ooh, this could be a big night for Denver." Nope,
Yeah.
they're playing the Blazers.
We'll go really quickly. We're going to speed round around the association. The Grizzlies
do it.
get the win over the Spurs. They are incredible. The Grizzlies
They
are a
never
machine.
lose.
Ja Morant only had 41, 5, and 8 tonight. He
Jesus
is really
Christ.
dope.
He is so dope.
He's really dope, man. The Chicago Bulls beat the Raptors 111-105. Nothing really to talk about there. We go to the Miami Heat, who beat the Knicks. The Heat are the Heat contenders? Are they
No clue.
Huh?
No clue.
I don't think so.
They're really good.
They are Denver's statement win.
Yeah, you're right.
If you're
You know
looking
what?
for Phoenix and
Are
Miami.
they like the number 2 seed in the East or something? I mean, they're
I think it's the Bulls and them.
the Heat have the Bulls. I think the Bulls have one fewer win than them, so I think they're ahead of them. It's just crazy. Miami is like so perfectly slid under the radar. They're just good enough that nobody's really talked about them, and they started slow. The Hawks win 121-104. You guys want to talk about this weird season? The Atlanta Hawks are back. They're good again. I'm serious. Have you seen them? They're good
No.
again.
No,
I
I
haven't.
checked out on the Atlanta Hawks.
Really?
Yeah, I was done with that. Are they good again?
I don't
Yeah.
watch the Eastern Conference. in fact.
Man, I swear to God.
Such an elitist.
The Clippers beat the Magic.
I know.
Should we do a little checking? Clippers, they got some tough games coming up, but the Clippers continue to go. Should we
How
look-
do our guys on the Magic do?
That's what I'm saying. Let's do a little digging here. We got none of them played. No,
Cool.
Gary
Cool.
Harris
Sick.
played 31 minutes. He had 14 points,
Okay.
4 of 9 shooting. Pretty, not really worth commenting on.
Oh,
Nope.
okay. Is RJ Hampton just
You
out
guys
of the
want the game of the
rotation?
night? You guys ready for the game of the night?
Yes.
The Charlotte Hornets beat the Indiana Pacers 158
What?
to 126.
Wow.
That
Damn
is
it, is that a doubleheader?
That is
regulation.
that's regulation. There was no overtime.
4 quarters?
158. Let's go to this box score because it's going to be too ridiculous.
Talk to me about Kelly Oubre.
Let's see who all scored. Let's see. Kelly Oubre had 39.
Off the bench?
LaMelo Ball had 29. Terry Rozier had 20. Miles Bridges had 22.
158.
It's a lot.
Do you think
of
a
points,
team
man.
could score 200 points in a game? Because I kind of think it's going to happen.
No, no, because you need another team to score like
That would take
close to
50 points every quarter.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, man. That's not going to happen.
I bet it happens.
Are you kidding? The
It would take in overtime, maybe.
Mavericks
Yeah,
are smacking
overtime,
the heck out of the
definitely.
Trailblazers. That game's not over, but it's kind of over. 98-81. The Cavaliers beat the Bucks. Man, Bucks lose this Cavs team for real.
Dude, the Cavs are
Dude, the
lost
Cavs are now
guys?
third place.
I'm telling you, they lose guys and they keep winning, man. Mobley might be
crazy.
Jokic-esque in this. Like we're like, man, he's like actually awesome.
Wow.
He's really dope. And then
I slept on Mobley.
last but not least, the battle that where something good is going to happen. The Suns are beating up on the Jazz. One of those teams has to lose. Yeah,
The Jazz are in turmoil,
struggling.
internally and externally.
Yeah, I would take another Jazz loss for sure.
If the Jazz lose this one, guys, this is insane. I know
Don't
you're not
say
going to
it.
believe it. If they lose this one, the Nuggets
say
are
it.
2 losses behind them.
Wow.
2 losses. I'm telling you.
That's
I don't
wild.
think it'll happen. But maybe the Nuggets keep the streak going. There is. Look at Dev is still there. He's on the phone. What are you doing, Dev? I can see Dev.
You're allowed to leave.
You're allowed to leave. You're allowed to go to bed.
Incredible commitment. He leaves in studio
I
in the
know.
middle of the show, but he sticks around backstage.
Oh my God.
I just see him hanging out.
Incredible.
Anyway, there's a really outside chance that the
I
Nuggets,
love Dev.
when they play the Jazz, that will be for the lead in the division.
That'd be
So,
wild.
It'd be so wild. I
How
don't think the
things have
Nuggets will go undefeated. They have to win 3 more road games in a row.
They're
to get
doing it.
there.
And
They're
I'm
gonna
going to
do
flip
it
that
for
switch.
Eric.
Nuggets 2.0, baby.
Yeah,
They've turned a new leaf.
Do it
fellas.
for my vibes, my specific vibes.
Let's do it for Eric, man. Man, what a gift it would be if they gave you that. What a gift to all of us
No,
if
no,
they gave you that.
that's specifically for me.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching us here. We got tomorrow off. Thank God. We're taking a day off. But we will be back on Friday. Actually, in Harrison, out of town. Boom.
Oh, lucky for you
We're
guys.
out. We are out. So you guys are gonna have Superstar Dev back. You're gonna have D-Line back. You're gonna have
Dude,
Dude,
we're
Vogt
going
back.
online.
Just
D-line.
just know that whole show is going to be done with me and Brendan hugging the whole time.
Oh wow.
I'm into it.
Really looking forward to that. So you
Teamwork.
guys will have that. Don't forget, put it on your schedule. Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Goaties. We'll see you then.
Let's go.